Legend of Total War here, and I'm just watching this video of Total War 3 Kingdoms Diplomacy gameplay reveal, part 1, and I'm actually really excited to see this video. I haven't watched it yet. I watched like 10 seconds of it. I was like, you know what, I'll do a reaction video. And because people constantly asking me what do I think of 3 Kingdoms, and I keep telling them I'm not hyped for it because I don't know anything about the game. They're actually showing some gameplay now. This is exactly what I want to see. So I'll do it live, sort of, and let you know what I think. So we'll just go through it bit by bit, and I'll analyze what they're talking about, and I'll let you guys know what my thoughts are.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the first of 2 videos exploring the all-new diplomacy system in Total War 3 Kingdoms. Our aim this time around is to revolutionise diplomacy.
First things I want to note, you can't see it right now, but when it was playing, I saw it said Spring 190 AD. That leads me to believe it's 4 turns per year, because it doesn't say like early spring, late spring, or anything like that. 4 turns per year. Now, personally, I think 4 turns per year is good. So that's just something I'm gathering from it immediately. I'm not going to just look at, whatever they're talking about. There's other things that we can possibly gather from this, just looking at the UI, seeing what we could do. Looking at the cities. It's called a large village. What does that mean? Does it have population? This is the kind of stuff I really want to know.
Enabling players to influence, befriend, coerce, and extort other factions in deeper and more powerful ways. The 3 Kingdoms period of Chinese history is an age of personalities, and each faction is defined by the personality of the warlord who leads it. Indeed, if you have an existing diplomatic treaty with a warlord and he dies...
Okay, so this is a little bit deeper than what we normally see, I suppose, from, character, stats and everything. Except that in terms of traits, we're not seeing very many of them. Obviously, in Medieval 2, you can have like 40 different traits. It's not a big deal. Other Total War games, you can only have 3. They seem to have some degree of impact. I don't really know what plus 10 resolve means. Is that a lot? Is it nothing? Hard to say. But, I don't have any problem with what I'm seeing so far. We can see over here, followers. So it's basically his equipment. So he can have... I don't know, it seems like you can have 5 different equipment slots. I don't know what the in bracket means, 5. I don't think you can have 5 weapons. I think it means it's like quality 5 maybe. But then there's nothing here. Hard to say. Let's keep going.
Handing the reins to his heir, who perhaps doesn't like you quite as much as his father, your diplomatic relationship with them can change significantly. Here we're in the early stages of a campaign playing as Liu Biao. A governor and gentleman of the Han Dynasty, he begins the campaign with the...
Okay, this is interesting because this reminds me of Crusader Kings 2, where you can work your way up from Count, Duke, King, Emperor. But it seems to be based on prestige as opposed to titles, which is fine. At least it gives us something to work towards, and we can see that this is basically Imperium. So you can see here our armies provided for. So yeah, so it's like Imperium in Rome too. The higher your rank, the more armies you can produce. Increase your prestige by capturing, expanding settlements. Yeah, so this is Imperium. They've just restructured it. I don't really have a problem with Imperium as long as they do a good job. Okay, so you can only have 3 trade agreement capacity based on where he is now. Administrators provides, so that's probably governors. Assignment capacity, don't know what that means. Army, so this is what his current rank is. So we can have 3 armies. So does it go 4, 5, 6, 7? Because if that's the case, that's fewer armies than what we normally see from like a historical title like Attila, which allows you to have like 14, 15, something like that. So yeah, a lot of numbers here that just mean nothing to me at the moment. We just got to find out more about this. I'm keen to see more.
Province capital of Xiangyang under his control. Not a significant...
Alright. Please fucking tell me that is population. Like, I mean, that being said, 350 out of 400, that's pretty low. But are we actually going to see population return? This looks like public order, if I had to guess. I mean, it's... What resolution am I on? I'm on 1080p. Can I go higher? No. It looks a bit pixelated, so it's hard to see. Large village. They had villages in Medieval 2, and it moved on from town, minor city, large city, huge city. Don't know how many types of settlements. So we got tax exemption. See how many gold it's making per turn. I don't know what this means. I don't know. Maybe that's products. Hard to say. But if that's an actual population, then I've been asking for that for so long, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to see from Three Kingdoms. And if it is something that we're actually going to see, and it's like Medieval 2, can be something that can be affected by capturing a settlement, sacking a settlement, and then he pummels the population back down to like near nothing. This gets ticks from me, if that is the case. Hard to see. We need to look at other settlements to gain some information.
Territorial holding by anyone's standards, and with no farms of his own, food.
Okay, so we can see here build slots. This large village has what seems like 4 build slots at the moment. So there's the main one, then there's some sort of temple, and then there's something like a farm but hasn't been built, and then there's industry. So this large village here. Also, the thing to note is they seem to have done away with the provincial system, where it's like the 644 system, which is fine. Look, I didn't mind them grouping up regions into provinces. That was fine by me, but I'm curious to see like how far this can go. Like, does a huge city have like just tons of different settlement options? I'm not seeing. Maybe this is food here. I don't know. We need to know more. So let's keep going.
Income, which is crucial to public order and military provisioning.
Okay, so we know that that's food. Okay, this here is food. So +2 food reserves faction-wide. Okay, cool. Now we know what that is.
Will soon become an issue. Plus, he's in the cauldron of potential crises that is the center of the campaign map. However, looking south, we can see that Liu Biao also begins with 2 vassals under his charge, Cai Mao and Huang Shu. And in Total War 3 Kingdoms, vassals are no longer simple sources of income and support. Cai Mao owns a livestock farm, and as food is now a tradable resource, let's try and make him our campaign breadbasket. Looks like he's got up to 6 units of food he can potentially provide us with, so let's make the request. You can now haggle in diplomacy, adding, removing, or modifying offers until you can find a deal that the other...
This is actually good. I like what we're seeing here. Rather than just be like, can I have a trade agreement? And then they'd be like, no, fuck off. Being able to haggle, that's cool. Let's keep looking.
Guy is happy with. Asking Cai Mao for 6 food produces a negative figure here, indicating his unwillingness with the deal on the table, so we have to find something that he values enough in return to sweeten the deal.
Hang on, I want to go back to that, see what the options were. I wasn't paying enough attention. So, request payment, make a payment, request regular payment, so tributes back. It's something that's been out of diplomacy in a long time. Request food trade, so, okay, so, right, so it works both ways. You offer food, so you can basically sell off your excess food. You can trade off your equipment, arrange a marriage. We can trade regions again. How about that? And then there's just the regular trade agreement. Okay, that's cool. It'd be interesting to see how it works. Diplomacy has always been more or less broken in Total War, so I'm glad to see trade territory is back. That's for sure.
Enough in return to sweeten the deal. The quick way to find out his price is to click the Make This Work button.
That is good. Okay, that's really good. How many times have we been in a diplomacy and you'd be like, okay, I'll try 10,000 gold, no deal. I'll try cancelling my alliances with someone else, no deal, and just nothing works. Now we could just click a button and basically optimize the diplomacy. That would be good. Now the thing is, in theory that's good, but how is it going to work in practice? Is it going to be a case of, this is how it's supposed to work, but when the game actually comes out, does it never work? Because in the past, Creative Assembly has shown off certain features that seem awesome, but then just don't work. They're just features that don't work. And maybe we're seeing right now is a situation where it does work, but like 99% of the time, you hit this and they say, no, never. That kind of stuff. Hard to say. Let's keep watching. But that being said, that is good. I just hope it works come release.
In this case, he's demanding quite a hefty sum, which is sort of understandable, given he's got something of a monopoly on food in the area. But it's quite a sum to sign up to this early in the campaign, so let's try and find something else that might satisfy him. Elsewhere, you can see that there's quite a raft of new treaties.
Okay, so there's different, like, there's 4 different classes of stuff to offer, and we didn't really... So this one here is in the War and Peace stuff. So that's basically like threat. You can declare war on him, but you're not allowed to because he's your vassal or something. Just various other things. Was there other ones there when he was going through it that we could see? Let me just go back a little bit.
A monopoly on food in the area. But it's quite a sum to sign up to this early in the campaign, so let's try and find something else that might
We already looked at that.
satisfy him.
Alright, so we just haven't looked at diplomatic
treaties. There's quite a raft
treaties.
of new treaties, deals, and options available. Anything that's impossible to offer or demand in the current negotiation is greyed out, and certain options won't become available until your faction...
Form coalition for military alliance. I mean, he's a vassal, I guess. So, alright, we'll see
rank
what else.
advances.
Then we got non-aggression pact, military access, vassalize. That's already been done. You can ask to become a vassal. Demand guarantee of autonomy. That's interesting. That's a new one. Offer guarantee of a... So you can actually ask for them to guarantee you. This is getting ticks from me so far. It just depends on whether or not it's going to work. I really like the fact that they've got like a number in terms of how much weight it's offered. This is the first Three Kingdoms thing that I've seen where I'm not like, oh, this doesn't interest me at all. You know, this is... You can annex them diplomatically. Confederate. Abdicate emperorship to... I don't know what that means, but maybe you have to actually be the emperor. Who knows? This is something that we'll find out probably late campaign. But...
Under diplomatic treaties, we have several offers available. Let's be the good guy and offer...
So liberate them. You can offer... So if he was to do that, you could say, give me food and I'll let you be not a vassal anymore. That's cool. I mean, that's something that you can do. I don't think you would do that, but so far this is ticking all the legend boxes. This has so far exceeded my expectations from what I expected. Like the diplomacy in like Rome to Attila, Warhammer has so far just been bare bones, and this is not bare bones.
Simao a guarantee of autonomy. Now, this is a promise that we'll never annex his faction into our own, but this is not something to...
Okay, actually, I just want to go back to that, because that is good. The fact that you can look at something and it tells you why. Now, I think, and I'm glad that they've done this, I think they've taken a page out of Paradox's books and looked at how they function with diplomacy, because Paradox's diplomacy is so much better than Creative Assembly, and they've applied it to Total War Three Kingdoms. This ticks the legend boxes. This is good, because now I don't have to get frustrated and be like, why? Why won't you just accept the fucking trade agreement? Why do I have to, like, throw all my money at you just to get a reason out of them? Now we can actually, they tell you what the actual reason is. You know, 8 is worth that much, the food is worth 8 diplomatic value, and then there's just base diplomatic stance, which probably just varies maybe based on relation. Hard to say. But this is good.
But this is not something to take lightly. If we were to later break that promise, it would be viewed as an act of treachery and would negatively affect our reputation with all factions. As we can see, it's something he quite likes, but 6 food still outweighs it in his own mind. So let's drop the asking price to 5, and yes, he's willing to agree to that. We propose the deal, and the food will be ours next turn. This method of haggling can be used in all your negotiations as you massage the deal to find something that works for both of you. As you can see, there's a lot of new tools to play with. Let's take a quick look at a couple more. If you're short on cash, you can request it from another faction, and perhaps offer to pay it back each turn in installments to make the loan more palatable. If you've gained a reputation for treachery, of course, characters will be less inclined to trust you in such matters. However, a loan can really make the difference when you need a quick...
Okay, so the thing about this that I'm noticing with the loan is that it's not set, like, how long you have to pay it. So, that's a little bit, like I like the fact you can get tribute out of them, because we haven't had that since Shogun 2, but... or pay tribute, even. But, you know, I feel like this brings me memories back of Shogun 2, if you've ever watched any one of my campaigns where I would, when, you know, the AI is it's Realm Divide and they're coming at me and I've got a huge amount of income and I'd offer that to pay them ridiculous sums of tribute for a peace treaty, knowing full well that they'll declare war on me the next turn, making the agreement null and void. So I hope they've taken that kind of thing into consideration, because you better be bloody sure I'll abuse it if it's in there. That's what I do. And, you know, I'll be making videos on it. So I hope they've taken that into account. If they have, great. If they haven't, that's an oversight that they really should look into.
Cash injection. You can also offer to support the independence of another vassal state as it attempts to shake off the yoke of its parent faction. This is basically an offer to support them if they go to war with their owners. It's a great way of weakening a powerful faction by appealing to the underdog to rise up. And if they choose to do so, you'll automatically join them in their war. However, if you then make peace with the parent faction, this will again be viewed as a treacherous act. You can now use the threat of war as a negotiating tactic, though you must be prepared for the consequences. Perhaps you're on a war footing and running at a budget deficit in order to maintain your armed force.
Just a little bit of a, I guess, nuisance thing is that it's like it's always got like a 1 at the end of it. I think the first click should be like, it goes from 1 to 50, not 51. Just a tiny little thing. I suppose you can always just type it in. I'm nitpicking, don't worry about it.
So you request a regular payment from another faction, and they are disinclined to lend. You then threaten to go to war with them if they don't comply. Now at this point, the faction compares your military strength to its own, and weighs up a host of other factors, such as the number of wars it's already engaged in, which of you has the best and strongest allies, and your treachery rating, for example. It then decides whether the cost of that war outweighs the regular payments. And crucially, unlike peaceful negotiations, when you saber-rattle the AI like this, you won't see the usual evaluation figures, making it a much riskier gambit. If they decide to call your bluff and reject your proposal, war is declared. Time to put your money where your mouth is. Certain core diplomacy functions can also be approached using the new Quick Deal menu.
Okay, so in terms of the coerce things, that's great, I'm glad for that. But something in terms of EU4, just in the back of my mind, when you get really big in EU4, you can start just basically, I've got a claim on this, I demand it, and if your strength of alliances is stronger than theirs, they basically always submit to you. And you can just basically use that to gain easy settlements all the time. So something that's always been a problem in Total War games is that the only real challenge is the early game, and there's been no challenge in the late game. So this here, that sort of coerce thing, seems to me to make something easier for the late game. So it's just something in the back of my mind. It's not a big deal. Again, we'd have to see more about it, but you know, I don't dislike it.
And this is a nice quality of life improvement. If we select non-aggression pacts, for example, we can see all the known factions who are capable of entering into such an agreement.
That's good. That's good. What they're doing here, they're adding depth without making it complicated, and making the UI, as far as I'm concerned, really, this is going to make diplomacy so much smoother, quicker, and more functioning in this, provided it works. And if they do manage to get this to work, then this is definitely something that would get me to purchase the game. I've said often up until now that, look, I just have no reason to purchase this game, but this is exciting for me, because this is if they pull this off, this is the most in-depth diplomacy we have ever seen in a Total War game, and it's exactly what I've been, amongst other things, been asking for a very long time, especially coupled with the fact that I saw a possibility of population. This is actually starting to excite me now.
With this, color-coded by who definitely will, who might, and who definitely won't. You can swiftly set up a host of agreements via the Quick Deal menu, and you can still haggle in order to fine-tune deals with those maybes. Okay, we'll leave Liu Biao to carve out his fledgling empire for now, but in short, diplomacy in Total War has changed enormously. With so many more levers to pull, chips to barter, and with a superfine level of control, a dedicated diplomat can engineer situations which were simply not possible before. Stay tuned for part 2, in which we'll explore the new forms of alliance you can forge, the reintroduction of an old fan favourite feature, region trading, and much more besides.
Okay, so that was unexpected. I'm sure everyone expects me to be always salty about, new Total War game stuff. But that was exciting stuff to see. I hope they're going to pull it off. I don't have anything bad to say about it. That ticked all of the legend boxes. This is a major step in the right direction, and something that I'm happy to see. So, I don't have anything bad to say about it, guys. I mean, I'm sure that's what some people were expecting, but damn, that looked good. I hope to see more good stuff come out of them, because I've been asking to see gameplay stuff out of this game. It was what I want to see before I purchase it, if I'm going to purchase it. I don't really care about these characters' backgrounds. I don't really care about how good it looks or anything like that, or even, the ambush battles, this is what you can do in the battles, whatever. In all honesty, the duel mechanic looks stupid, but the campaign stuff is what I've really been wanting to see, and so far, looks good. So it gets the legend tick of approval, and I'm looking forward to covering more of these. And let me know in the comments if you want me to cover more of these videos, and let you guys know my thoughts. Obviously, I picked up on some stuff that they weren't talking about, and as they go into more and more details with these things, and play the game, we'll be able to pick up things that they're not specifically talking about, and speculate as to what they might be and how they might affect the game. But so far, it's looking okay. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, see you next time, fuckers.